Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Aroca. Hey, today I thought we would review one more chapter of my book, Live the Life You Have Always Imagined. It is available on Amazon. If you want to pick up a copy, you can get it there. I will leave the link in the description. So today I thought we would cover chapter 5 of my book. And we're going to be talking about how storms in our lives don't last forever. And I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can make sure that your storms, whatever storm you're going through right now, won't last forever. I want to share a quote with you by Louisa May Alcott. And I think this quote is awesome. So here's the quote. "I'm not afraid of storms, for I am learning how to sail my ship." Isn't that awesome? Okay. Some storms can be pretty scary. Let's face it. If you're fighting, some sort of disease, if you've been unemployed, I want to share a quick story before I share the 3 ways that you can use in your life to help you overcome or just even accept the storms in your life. So in 2013, my wife Selena and I took our kids on vacation and we headed to the Oregon coast. I have a sister that lives in Grants Pass, Oregon, and so we wanted to go up and visit her family, and we loved going up there anyway. So it was a good time. We did lots of fun things. We did the jet boat tour of the Rogue River, and that's really fun. I mean, these jet boats are huge, and they pack like 30 people in them or something like that, maybe more. And they take you on this tour of the Rogue River, and they do donuts on the Rogue River. So we did lots of fun activities. I went bass fishing with my brother-in-law and my nephews, which is something we love to do. So we had a really good time. Well, one of the things that we decided to do is that we would go charter fishing. So we would drive to the coast and we would rent a charter and we would go charter fishing, which is always a lot of fun. I made the arrangements, got it all set up, and we had to get up early on a Friday morning, I believe. So we get up really early in the morning, and we had to actually, instead of going to the Oregon coast, we couldn't find a charter on the Oregon coast, so we were going to have to go to the California coast, to the northern coast. So we actually drove. We got up at like 4 a.m. We drove down to Redding, California, where we were at the Redding Harbor, so where we were going to go out on our charter. So we get there, everything's great. It's so peaceful in the morning in the harbor. It was perfect. It was just pristine. All the ships are lined up, in the harbor, and it just looks cool, right? It's like picturesque. I think I did take a couple of pictures because it just looks so great. We finally met our captain of our boat. And instead of renting like a 56-foot boat, which is normally, when I've rented a charter before, it's typically the size of boat that we've been on, just huge 45 or 52 footers, just huge. And they pack them full of people. So you're not the only ones on the boat. I wanted to create a little bit more of a personal experience this time because I had my kids, or at least some of my kids, and I had one of my nephews with me. So I thought, you know what, let's just see if we can get a smaller boat. So we actually chartered a 26-foot boat. So fairly small. He tells me before we leave that the fishing grounds, we were going to go salmon fishing. He says it's pretty windy on the fishing grounds this morning. He said he just had the weather report from the Coast Guard, and they said it was blowing 45. Now, I don't know what blowing 45 means, right? Like, I watched Deadliest Catch, so I don't know, maybe I had an inclination, right, of what blowing 45 would mean. But, you're just like, okay, whatever. So he says, well, it's blowing 45 on the fishing ground, so we may not be able to actually fish. But what we can do is go out there, try it out. And if we can't fish for salmon, we can fish for rock bass, and we can still have a really good time. And I was like, I'm all for it. Let's do it. I don't really care what we catch, just as long as we catch some stuff. So we get out there, and it is peaceful. We're just chugging outside of the harbor, right? And all you can hear is the seagulls right at the very back of the boat as they're flying right behind the boat. And you could hear the sound of the motor just, like chugging along. And it was just awesome. Like, what a great feeling. And I remember getting right outside of the harbor, and the wind picked up a little bit, and it started to be a little bit windy. And I thought, oh, wow, it is a little bit windy out here, but it wasn't bad. Like, I've been fishing on local lakes here on a small boat before, and it wasn't a big deal. Like, it's okay, it's choppy, no biggie. We get out a little bit further. We get out to the first buoy marker. The first buoy marker is about a quarter mile out. And we get out to that buoy marker, and man, it is windy. Like, it is not choppy, it is windy, okay? The captain gets on the radio, and we're all kind of just standing, standing around at this point. But it got pretty windy, so the captain said, hey, you may want to tell your kids to just find a place to sit. And there's not chairs, there's no benches, there is nothing like that on this boat, okay? The back of the boat is just bare wood planks and side rails, and that's it. There is nothing else really back there to sit on, except for some coolers, right? So the coolers that we would throw fish in to take home, or the coolers that had our drinks or our food in, we could sit on those. So he just said, hey, just grab a cooler, sit on the cooler, and just kind of hang on a little bit, maybe hang on to the side rails or hang on to your cooler, whatever. So I was just standing next to him. He got on the radio, and the weather forecast said it is blowing 45 on the fishing grounds, and they said, they cautioned anyone going out there, that it's blowing 45 and it's pretty dangerous. So, I guess you decide what you want to do. So he looked at me and he said, well, it looks like the fishing grounds are probably not going to be fishable today because it's blowing pretty hard. So he said, so what we can do is we can just turn around. I'll reimburse you your money so you're not out any money. But we can just turn around, go back to the harbor. Or he said, or we can just keep going. We can keep going and just see what it's like for ourselves instead of taking a radio report. So I said, well, let's go. Let's just go out. Let's keep going. My son looked at me. My son was probably about 13 at the time, I think, maybe 14. And he looked at me and he said, Dad, I don't think this is a good idea. Right? I don't think I'd ever been out with my son on a boat, even at a local lake when it was really super choppy. And so, he was a little bit concerned. He was like, I don't know about this, right? So he's saying, Dad, I don't think this is a good idea. So I tell the captain, I said, well, let's just go see for ourselves how bad it is, and we'll check it out. So he says, okay, make sure that you guys all hold on, and we'll get out there. So we get out past the next couple of buoy markers, we get out to the fishing grounds, and whatever blowing 45 means, I think I have a better understanding of that now. Blowing 45 means it is blowing really freaking hard. The waves are really, really tall, and it is this kind of a ride. He would gun the engine when we were riding the wave. When we were riding up towards the wave, he would gun the engine, full power. He'd go, and then when we crest the wave, he'd let off the throttle, and then literally the boat would do this, boom, like that. Can you see that angle? Like that. Not like that, like that, right? Boom. Coast down and back up again, and coast down again and back up again. And so at some point, when you're headed up, all you see is sky. When you're headed back down, you don't even see sky. You're not even focused on seeing the sky. All you see is water. That's all you see is just water. So pretty scary. At this point, everyone in the back of the boat is holding on for dear life. And my son is like, Dad, this is not a great idea. Dad, this is not a good idea, over and over again. So, and I told him, I just said, hey, you know what? Just hang on. Everything's going to be fine. When we got out there, because it was so windy, we saw it for ourselves. We determined that let's just go back to the harbor. So that storm was temporary, because the closer we got to the harbor, the calmer it became again. And that is like our lives. We might be in the middle of that storm. When you're in the middle of the storm, it is not fun. It is scary. It is threatening. You're going to have all these thoughts. This is not a good idea. Hey, Dad, Mom would not approve of this. Well, then don't tell your mom. But so we fail to see that on the other side of that storm, that there are blue skies, that there is safety in the harbor. So I just want you guys to seek for safety in your own harbor, whatever that is. Maybe it's through church. Maybe it's your church leaders. You can find safety with them. You can find comfort and safety with your family and friends, with neighbors, with colleagues at work. Find others that will help you ride that storm, so that you're not riding that storm all alone. The 3 things that you can do to help you get through those life storms. So the first thing that you can do is embrace the storm. I know that sounds crazy, right? But liken it to my fishing story, right? Just embrace it. Just embrace it. It doesn't mean that you're going to have fun. It doesn't mean that you're going to, but just embrace it. Just accept that it is what it is. Embrace that you're going through that, whatever trial you're going through, whatever storm it is in your life, just embrace it, accept it, so that you can move forward. If you can never get to the point where you can embrace it, then how are you going to get through that storm, without total misery, right? And that's not the point. The point isn't to get through the storms in total misery. The point is to, accept it. I'm in the middle of this storm, and then help you to move forward. Second thing is to ride the waves. So liken it to that, to that story. You get so caught up in your own storm that you forget that there are other waves that you could be riding, right? When you ride the other waves, when you continue to live your life, it takes the focus away from that major storm that you are riding in your life. So ride the other waves. Don't stop living your life. Continue to go to work. Continue to serve your family. Continue to love your family. Continue to just live your life. If you continue to live your life, you'll get through that storm in a much better way. It'll be so much better for you in the long run, or the short term, depending on how long that storm is. The third thing that you can do is anchor in hope, right? So when you get to the harbor, anchor. Hope is not a strategy, but it's a dang good start, right? So have hope. You got to have that hope that storm is going to end in your life. You got to have hope that your unemployment is going to end. You got to have hope that your business is going to take off. You got to have hope that you can beat whatever illness you're battling. Or just even have the hope that you can get through whatever illness. If it's a terminal illness, for example, to have the hope that you can get through it the best way possible. So anchor in hope. So remember the 3 things that you need to do to get through those storms in your life is embrace the storm, ride the waves, and anchor in hope. So if you utilize those 3 methods to help you ride out the storms in your life and get to safety and get to that harbor, then you will be much better off. I hope this video has been helpful for you guys. As I share these principles with you, these are things that I've done in my life to help me. I'm a pretty positive person, and it doesn't mean that I don't have bad days, right? But I don't have bad weeks, and I don't have bad months. I have bad days, bad hours. And so these are the principles that as I share with you guys, these are the principles that I've used in my life to help me battle the storms in my life. And trust me, there's been plenty of ugly storms, but you, like me, can get through them. Okay, guys, that's all we have time for today. So, hey, if you like the video, you know what to do. Like, share, comment, all that really good stuff. Hit that notification bell. I release videos every Wednesday and Friday. So, stay tuned for the next one. Take care. See you later.